Let me just move this wheel a little bit. Maybe you can give me a job framing shot. Yeah, obviously, it's been a big change being in confinement for us. We're used to traveling around and not stopping, basically. My wife's heavily pregnant as well, so we've been preparing for our first child, which is both exciting and scary. And Amazon orders have been flying through the door, which has been good to get set up for that and actually have the time at home to be able to prepare for that. This obviously is my second season on the V4. To me, it's a chance to build on what we did last year. Which obviously was turbulent. We had a tough beginning, and then I think from the middle to the end of the season, we put together a lot of good races, and we're pretty much on podium pace. Winter was a good chance to try and improve the bike, which I think we did. But for one reason or another, Phillip Island wasn't a fantastic weekend. It was a bit of a struggle. But obviously, qualifying did play a part in Phillip Island. It was a really poor qualifying. And I did move forward in the races substantially, especially in the last race. We got through a fair bit, but with or without that qualifying, I didn't have the pace in Phillip Island. It was a tough weekend, but like I said, I'm not reading into it too much, and I don't think it's a great representation of generally the rest of the circuits that you get. It's always a relief to score good results after some difficult races. And yeah, no secret, the beginning of last year, it was obviously a tricky start, but in the end, we still won a race last year. We still finished the year on the podium plenty of times at the end of the season. And it's quite easy to, I think, kind of overlook those results. When Alvaro had such a strong beginning of last year, you know, he grabbed a lot of attention, and rightly so. He did a phenomenal job. But I think it's easy to overlook that I actually did beat him straight up from the middle of last year to the end of the year, and I scored more points than him. Yeah, I think it definitely helps to have riders of a similar size and stature. We're all gangly, we've all got big limbs. And I think that can only be a good thing, because even just from a comfort point of view, if you're saying, well, I need a bit of a longer seat, but they're building it for one tall person, then it's hard to get that through. But if there's a few of you going, yeah, I could benefit from that, then it's a different conversation. So it's good having those guys there, both Leon and Scott, and obviously they're both excellent riders as well. So we can definitely, I think, all gain from each other. My dad and mum own a go-kart circuit on the Welsh borders, and Scott used to come practicing and racing there quite a bit. It's actually a breath of fresh air for myself, having an English speaker as a teammate. You always want to beat your teammate, and that doesn't change whether I do or don't get on with Scott. The job stays the same, and the hunger to beat them stays the same. But you know, with Scott, I think we can sort of step away from racing. We can have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, I think throughout the year that we'll have a decent working relationship. We haven't really broached the conversation about the future. Not yet, not seriously anyway. Everybody is talking about, you know, how do we come out of coronavirus, and how do we manage the situation from this year, and at the same time opening up a conversation about 2021 as well. This year was an opportunity, and I really want to have that opportunity to make sure I get a second fair crack at the whip with this Panigale V4. We might have a lot of races packed into a couple of months, so yeah, you've got to have to be ready for it, and it probably will add some pressure. Races close together are always more taxing on physical and mental side, but it's the same for everybody. So we'll just get stuck in and try and turn up in the best shape as possible and go racing.